Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as I said in my last videos, I wanted to do some on mental health. So today we're literally just going to do a chilled chat about my story on mental health and like my side of things, and then on other ones I'll dive into different types and like just talk about them so they're more well known, because if you're like me you'll agree that mental health isn't spoken about enough and there's a lot of stigma, and I feel like the more people talk about it and make it more well known, then the more people will get help and the suicide rates and stuff will go down. So hopefully I'm not going to cry. I don't think I'm going to cry. I'm pretty strong. I talk about my life all the time to people. So yeah. So basically I was diagnosed with depression when I want to say 15. So coming up 6 years ago now. But I had the symptoms for years before that because, well, I don't actually know why. I've never found out whether mine's the chemical imbalance, childhood trauma, or like a mixture of both. I didn't have a terrible childhood, but I did have parts of it that were bad enough to have a knock-on effect, unfortunately. But I definitely haven't had it the worst, so I won't make out like I had the worst childhood ever. But basically every time I got mad I would try and hurt myself, or me and my mum would fall out and I'd want to cause myself pain, or you know, sometimes I didn't want to be on the earth anymore. And when I was diagnosed I was put on tablets, but then eventually I decided to come off of them because for me I felt like they worked for a little while and then they just stopped working, and I just felt worse if anything. And the tablets don't mask, they don't get rid of the symptoms, they just mask it, and then once they wear off you're back to normal. So the key thing to do is to talk to people. I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite here because I went to a counselling session and then changed my number and never went back, but I do regret that and I do wish that I carried it on because I think it could have helped me in the long run. But although I was diagnosed with depression, I am sort of not being looked into, but I've spoken to some sort of like counsellor people online, and they do think that I may be bipolar and have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. So I'm not diagnosed with those, so I'm not going to say that I have those, but people from sources that you can go to online have said that I could be. So mine's like a mixture of things. But you know, the typical sort of symptoms that you should look out for people are things like low moods all the time and sadness. You feel helpless and hopeless, that you don't feel like anything is going to get better. You feel like it's just going to be bad for like ever and there's no hope for anything good. You feel like there was one of my phases where I just didn't care about anything. I literally didn't care. I didn't care about school, didn't care about life. I could be nasty to people and I wouldn't care. I'm not like that now, but at that time I was. I lost interest in a lot of things that were my favourite things. The only thing I didn't lose interest in is music, and anyone who knows me well knows I'm like obsessed with music, and I will happily just sit there for hours with my headphones in. But that's the only thing I didn't lose interest in, and everything else just went. I didn't want to draw anymore, I didn't want to do well in school. I was doing topics I really liked when I chose them, but at that point I was just like, I've had enough, I don't want to do it. I don't find this fun, I'm not enjoying it, and it was just really hard to get through anything because I was just so low and so down, and I just didn't enjoy life basically. And then I had a couple of tough times that I don't need to talk about because they involve other people and I don't want to bring other people into it, but I had those tough times and then I kind of spiraled back. And I remember there was one time that my mum actually had to come and check on me because she thought that I had taken some taken something or done something that like would kill me in my sleep. And I remember being so sad and just messaging her like, Mum, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do it. I'm always thinking of ways to, you know, go. And I remember trying to get to sleep, and I remember hearing her come and check on me. And now that when I think about it, I'm like, I can't believe that I wanted to do that. But at the time, it was something that I really wanted to do. But luckily for me, I do have a strong mind because I've grown up through tough things. So I managed to think of the things that are worth living for. So, for example, I wouldn't want, if I imagine my sister being told that I was not here anymore, that breaks my heart. So I think about things like that. And at the moment, even though I do get low and I do have my depressive episodes, I'm not at a suicidal point. Like, there's not really a part of me that I think would actually go to the lengths of doing it. But I think people need to understand that that is something that some people go through, and instead of making them feel bad for it, you should be trying to help them through it and showing them the positive things rather than giving them more negativity, because it is the negativity that brings people down. And I know that it is hard to be around people that have depression as well, because sometimes it can have a knock-on effect, and I always feel bad for being down around my friends and my boyfriend and my family, but it's just me and I can't really help it. So I went through the don't care stage, and then I went into a really angry and hyper emotional phase where I literally didn't know how to deal with my emotions, and I would lash out and I would literally throw my body around, and that then led me to have a panic attack because I had like so much built up that everything just came out in one, and I like couldn't breathe, and that was like really scary. So after that episode, I actually went back to the doctors and went back on a pill. I can't remember what they were called now, but I went back on some tablets. They weren't the strongest you can get. They were quite low in like milligrams or whatever it is. But I decided that after that month had run up that I wasn't going to pick any more up, because again, I don't really feel like I want to spend the rest of my life on tablets, because I don't think, like I said, it's not going to make any better. Eventually they'll stop working and I'll just get on a higher and higher dose, and then the higher dose you have, if you come off of it, then you get hit hard by like a lot of feelings, and I don't want to go through that. So for me, if I get low, I sort of shut myself away. I guess you shouldn't, but I shut myself away. I try not to push people away, because it's not their fault, and sometimes they can, like Holly and Connor are really good at making me laugh and like cheer back up, but sometimes I know I do push them away because I don't want to sort of be low around them, so I just push them away, and I do feel bad for it. Or I will stick my earphones in and just spend some time listening to music, because that is like my favourite thing. So many bands have helped me through episodes just by me listening to them and enjoying their music. Sometimes I will draw, because I find that if I'm concentrating on something, then your mind doesn't have time to overthink all the bad stuff and like get to the low point, because you're concentrating on something. And that does really work. If you have the time to sit down and do something that you enjoy, don't pick something that you find a task, then because your mind is busy, it keeps you going for a little bit, which is really helpful. Reading, listening to music, drawing, I don't know, playing a game can help. But those are the sort of things that I do. I also used to like walking a lot, but I don't really do that much anymore. I still enjoy it, I just don't do it. I probably should. But you shouldn't try and force yourself to do things, because if you force yourself to do things, then you like lose interest and excitement over it. The more you force yourself to do it, the more it feels like a chore, and then you just don't want to do it. So it's better not to do it. I'm just going to read through some symptoms that are from the NHS website on depression, so that people know what to look out for in other people, because sometimes the person who's going through it doesn't actually realise that that's what they're going through, and if you can notice it when they can't, then you can help them before it gets too much. So we've got continuous low moods or sadness, feeling hopeless and helpless, like I said, having low self-esteem, so I'll get to my story on low self-esteem in a minute, feeling tearful, feeling guilt-ridden, feeling irritable and intolerant of others. I get stages where I'm just irritable all the time. I literally can't have people around me, and that's the part that they think could be bipolar, because you go through major highs and then major lows, and sometimes your highs can be irritability or just really happy, and I flick between the two. Having no motivation or interest in things, like I said, I lost interest in all my subjects and stuff. Having no motivation, I just read that. Finding it difficult to make decisions, not getting any enjoyment out of life. So again, when you are doing things that you usually enjoy but you just don't anymore. Feeling anxious or worried, so anxiety does come along with depression quite often. Having suicidal thoughts or thoughts of harming yourself. Moving or speaking more slowly than usual. Changes in appetite or weight, usually decreasing but sometimes increasing. Constipation, unexplained aches and pains, lack of energy, low sex drive, changes to your menstrual cycle, and disturbed sleep. So I have quite a lot of those. My sleep, I don't have a problem falling asleep, but I don't stay asleep. I wake up at least 4 times a night, which makes me really tired, and then tiredness creates low moods, and it's just a massive circle. And they do, if you go to the doctors to get diagnosed with depression or to see if you have depression, they'll ask you about your sleep. And I did tell them about mine, but they didn't really do anything about it, which was very annoying. Belly aches and stuff can be due to worrying and anxiety. It's off if you, I don't know if you've ever seen posts, but they say that kids don't say, a 5-year-old wouldn't be like, I have anxiety. They would be like, Mummy, my belly hurts and stuff, which is another thing I went through as a kid. Every time I went to see my dad, I would throw up every single I went to see him every other weekend. So all those every other weekends, I would throw up, sometimes in my sleep, into my bed, and sometimes just whenever, because the time there wasn't incredibly good. He wasn't a terrible dad, but the time there wasn't good, and I was always anxious and worried every time I went over there. The self-harming and suicidal things, obviously that's more on the more severe scale of depression. Some people just have mild depression, and obviously that's still not good, but that is a lot better than being further down the line, because that's when you get to the I want to cause pain to myself, or I just don't want to be here. And I have been all through the scale, and I have hurt myself, and I'm not proud of it. It's not something I did for attention. I'm not telling people because I want attention. It's just a real thing that people with depression genuinely go through. And I look at my scars sometimes and I'm like, why did you do it to yourself? And I can't speak for everyone who has depression because we're all different, but a lot of the times when you do it, you feel immediate guilt after. You don't want to do it. You do it because you don't feel anything. You are like empty of feelings, so you do it so that you feel something, and then you feel guilty, and then that makes you spiral anyway. So I haven't done it in a long time, but I have done it, and I regret it a lot. I don't know if anyone else does, but I really regret it. So it's not something that I would advertise as a good thing to do, and it really annoys me when I was in school there was people actually doing it for attention, and I was just like, really? There's people out here genuinely suffering, and you are literally admittedly just doing it for attention? Yeah, no, not cool. Not cool, bro, not cool. And like I said, I have been on the most severe end where I did want to not be here anymore, but I've never actually proceeded to try and kill myself. I have never, ever done it. But I'm hoping if anyone is watching this who suffers with depression, you know that, one, I am pretty open. I always put on my Twitter that if anyone needs someone to talk to, they can DM me, and I will pretty much answer anyone if they're in that kind of state, because I want to help. I'm not a professional on mental health. I'm not like a psychology graduate. I did do psychology in A-level, but I'm just speaking from experiences, and I find it quite easy to help other people because I know how they feel. Even though I find it hard to help myself, I do find it easy to help other people, and I have helped other people. So you can talk to people. There is a website called Mind, which has lots of information on all different types of mental health issues, from depression to bipolar to eating disorders. I'm pretty sure it's got things on there for like ADHD and stuff as well, which is pretty cool. And it's got like symptoms. It's even got a bit where you can get a bit of training if you want to help others, and it's got a section on like what to look for in others. And I'm pretty sure there is a resources part as well, where like self-help, which is really good, because sometimes you just need to have a good old talking to yourself and help yourself. But of course you can also find someone on counselling. My iPad has just died and I had all the links on there, but there are plenty of websites that give you resources. There is one called Calm, which is for men only, I believe, but that is really important. Obviously men find it a lot harder to talk about their feelings and stuff, and I just want to be the one that says it's okay to cry, it's okay to be low, it's okay to have feelings. You should just go onto the Calm website, Calm as in I'm feeling calm, and you can literally talk to someone online and they can give you help and advice. And then of course there's the Samaritans and stuff, and there's out of hours and emergency people who you can call up or speak to online, and I will probably get Connor to put some numbers on the screen so that they're there because I can't read them out. But yeah, so I feel like I've skipped half of my story because my mind went blank as soon as I started to film this video, because I didn't realise how uncomfortable it was going to be to talk about it. But then when you think about it, that is the reason I'm doing this video, because people find it uncomfortable to talk about. But it is something that really needs to be spoken about. I don't feel bad for being depressed. I am not depression. Depression does not define me. It's just something that like lives in me, and I just have to like kick it in the butt every time it wants to come out. So obviously some people do find that a lot more hard to do and are struggling a lot worse than me. I find, like I said, I am not on any medication and I don't go to counselling. I'm genuinely just helping myself, and it is really hard. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. You should. Some people, it is just a chemical imbalance and you should go get those tablets, because that's what the tablets are for, to make everything balance out. To make that sister serotonin at a right level for you to cope with. And then obviously some people, it is trauma from childhood or through life or at any point, or grief. Obviously my nan died not long ago, so I have sunken into a deeper hole lately. But different people cope in different ways. My way is by just like dealing it with myself, speaking to the people close to me, and then sort of trying to move. I don't know if this is going to work for the rest of my life, but at the moment I'm coping. This is how I cope. But yeah, so I've rambled and missed half my story out, but this is the first video of my mental health series thing, and I really need to get this out of the way because, like I said, I genuinely didn't think it was going to be this difficult to talk about it and remember my whole story. I thought I was going to be able to say it fine without coming close to tears or without forgetting everything that's happened to me, which is crazy. How can you just forget what happens to you? But then that is another thing. Like, I can't remember from 8 years old and younger because it is just blocked out. I don't want to remember it. I have a very strong mind. I can force myself to forget stuff. So yeah, so there'll be more videos in this series. I hope if any of you are watching and are struggling, then you take my advice and at least go on some websites and see if there's anyone you can talk to online, or you can message me on my Twitter or leave a comment below. There will be links below for resources and stuff. I just can't remember them off the top of my head, so they'll be in the description box. But please talk. What's the worst that can happen? If somebody turns around and makes you feel bad for it, then they're the wrong person to be talking to, because normal people should just understand that people can't control what their brain does. Brains are powerful, okay? You can't control it. It's trying to control you. You can't control them. All you can do is find a balanced playing field and just try and get through each day. Take each day at a time. I can promise you, it does get better. You just gotta hang in there. Don't do anything drastic. Don't do anything you'll regret. Just hang in there. Speak to people. And as hard as it is, try and think positively. But yeah, that's me. Over and out. I'm filming this on Sunday and it's going up today, so I need to get downstairs and get Connor editing it because I'm going on holiday next week, so there'll probably be some vlogs instead. But yes, this is me with a hangover talking about my depression. Come back soon for some more videos on mental health. I think I'll probably cover depression more next time, and then we'll go anxiety. Maybe I'll do A to Z. I might do A to Z on mental health. That could be interesting. Yes. But I know I have a lot of people waiting for me to do mental health. So this is my first one. This is the first one of the series. Make sure you follow and hit that little bell thing. I don't know if it'll work. You need your notifications turned on anyway. And then you'll be notified when I next post. But yeah. Bye.